Arsenal are 5 points clear and Pep Guardiola is fuming. Here is everything you need to know. Let's be honest. If you are an Arsenal fan right now, you are walking on air. And if you are a Manchester City fan, you are probably staring at the table wondering how it all went wrong so fast. Sunday the 10th of May 2026 was one of those days that football gives you once in a while. A day full of drama, controversy, last gasp moments, and a result that could genuinely change the entire shape of the Premier League title race. Arsenal beat West Ham 1-0 at the London Stadium. Leandro Trossard scored the only goal in the 83rd minute. But the real story came in stoppage time when West Ham thought they had grabbed a dramatic equaliser, only for VAR to take it away. And somewhere across Manchester, Pep Guardiola was left hoping for a different kind of miracle that never came. Let us walk through all of it together, because there is a lot to unpack here. The match itself, Arsenal were made to work for this. Do not let the clean sheet fool you. This was not a comfortable afternoon for Arsenal. West Ham came into this game fighting for their Premier League lives, sitting just 1 point above the relegation zone, and they played like it mattered. Arsenal had the better chances early on. Victor Gyökeres, who has been on fire with 9 goals in his last 12 Premier League appearances, caused problems throughout. Eberechi Eze tried his luck from a free kick but could only find the wall. At the other end, David Raya made a brilliant save to deny Castellanos with a header that looked destined for the net. Then came Trossard in the 83rd minute, a powerful shot through the goalkeeper, 1-0 Arsenal, but West Ham were not done. In the dying moments of stoppage time, Callum Wilson absolutely smashed the ball home to make it 1-1. The London Stadium erupted. West Ham fans were on their feet. It looked like Man City were about to get the gift they needed. Then VAR stepped in. The goal that was not a goal. What actually happened? This is where it gets complicated. And this is where opinions are going to be split right down the middle. After a long review, VAR official Darren England asked referee Chris Kavanagh to go to the pitchside monitor. Kavanagh watched the footage, saw what he believed was a foul on Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya in the build-up, and disallowed the goal. The specific incident involved Jean-Claire Todibo, who had his arm across Raya as the goalkeeper went up to claim the ball. The contact happened before Wilson had the chance to get to it and finish. The referee decided that was enough, goal ruled out, Arsenal win 1-0. Now here is the honest question, was it the right call? It depends on who you ask. If you look at it purely from a rules perspective, a foul on the goalkeeper before the ball reaches the scorer is a valid reason to disallow the goal. Keepers are supposed to be protected in those situations, but here's where it gets interesting. Arsenal have spent much of this season being criticised for physical play at set pieces. The irony of the defensive call going in their favour here was not lost on anyone. As one reporter put it, the team known for fouling in the box on corner kicks got a reprieve for a late equaliser because of a foul on their keeper. Was it fair? Possibly. Was it controversial? Absolutely. What this result means for the title race right now, with 2 games left for Arsenal and 3 for Manchester City, Arsenal sit 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League table. Let that sink in. 5 points, 2 games left for Arsenal. The maths is very, very simple. If Arsenal win one of their remaining 2 games, they are champions. Even a draw could be enough depending on what City do. This is as close as Arsenal have been to winning the league in over 20 years. The fans know it, the players know it, Mikel Arteta knows it, and Pep Guardiola definitely knows it. What do you think? Is the title already Arsenal's, or do you believe Man City can still find a way through? Let us know in the comments. Pep Guardiola and VAR, a long, complicated story. Now let us talk about Pep Guardiola. Because if there is one man whose reaction to today's VAR decision you can probably guess without even reading the news, it is him. Guardiola has had a long and complicated relationship with VAR and referees throughout his time in the Premier League. And to be fair to him, his frustration is not always without cause. But it is also not always consistent. Let us go back to the beginning. When VAR was first introduced in English football back in 2019, Guardiola was broadly in favour of it. The idea made sense. Use technology to correct clear and obvious errors, make the game fairer, stop goals being wrongly given or taken away. Who could argue with that? But over the years, his tune has changed, slowly at first, then a lot more loudly. After a defeat to Newcastle United in November 2025, Guardiola was visibly furious at the final whistle. He went onto the pitch and had words with the match official, Sam Barra. Later in the press conference, he repeated the phrase, "everything is fine," 4 times in 5 minutes, while clearly not believing it for a single second. When journalists kept asking about the referee decisions, he snapped back. The last 5 questions have been about referees and the actions. Ask the referees. That is not the voice of a man who is happy with how things are going. Earlier in the 2025 season, during a VAR controversy involving a disallowed goal, Guardiola simply said, "Common sense, no?" when asked about the decision. 2 words. But they said everything about where he was mentally. In March 2025, City had one of their worst seasons in years. Guardiola gave one of the most remarkable press conferences of his career, calling his own performance really poor and saying, "My duty was to overcome this situation much better than I have done." He admitted that the titles they won in previous years did not entitle them to anything. The titles we won before, no one handed them to us. This year, we did not meet our standards. That was a different side of Guardiola. Honest, self-critical, almost humble. It was striking because it was so far from the defensive, referee-blaming version of him that I've been appearing more and more. The inconsistency problem here is the thing about Guardiola and his relationship with referees and VAR that not enough people talk about honestly. His criticism is not consistent. When decisions go for City, Guardiola does not hold press conferences to say the referee got it right. He does not stand up and praise VAR for catching a mistake. He stays quiet, or he shifts the conversation to something else entirely. It is only when decisions go against City that suddenly the system is broken, the referees need more humility, and something needs to change. This is not unique to Guardiola. Most managers do it. Jose Mourinho did it for years. Jurgen Klopp had his moments too. But what makes Guardiola different is that he talks about it with such intellectual seriousness that it can start to sound like principle when it is actually frustration. He said once quite famously, "In football, the worst things are excuses. Excuses mean you cannot grow or move forward." Interesting quote from a man who in certain moments has found it very easy to talk about referees after a bad result. Does that mean he is wrong about VAR? The system does have real problems. Decisions take too long. There is inconsistency. Fans do not always understand what is being checked or why. These are genuine criticisms that many people across the game share. But there is a difference between principled advocacy for a better system and a manager who gets louder about referees specifically when his team is losing ground in a title race. What do you think? Is Guardiola's criticism of VAR genuine, or does it tend to show up more when things are not going well for City? Was today's decision one of those Guardiola should be angry about? Let us be fair here. The disallowed goal for West Ham is the kind of decision that is genuinely hard to feel fully confident about. Raya was touched, but was it enough to deny him the ability to make his save? That is a judgment call, and judgment calls by definition can go either way. West Ham needed that point desperately. They are fighting for their Premier League survival. For their fans and their players, this was not just a result that helped or hurt Arsenal. This was potentially a life or death moment for their club. And for Man City, a West Ham equaliser would have cut Arsenal's lead and kept the title race alive for another few days. So the stakes could not have been higher. And VAR made a call that fell firmly on the side of Arsenal. Was it the right call? Probably. The contact was there, the referee saw it on the monitor. He had the information in front of him and he made a decision. But was it the kind of call that would always feel clean and satisfying and beyond debate? No. And that is the honest truth about VAR in general. It does not always give you clear, obvious answers. Sometimes it just replaces one type of uncertainty with another. What makes this Arsenal moment so special? Let us step back from the controversy for a moment. Because whatever you think about the VAR call, what Arsenal are doing this season deserves to be celebrated. This is a team that has been chasing this moment for a very long time. Mikel Arteta took over a club that was struggling badly. He rebuilt the culture, the squad, the belief. He brought in players like Trossard, like Gyökeres, like Zubimendi. He created a team that does not just hope to win games, they expect to win games. Trossard scoring the winner today was not a lucky goal. It was the product of a team that keeps pressing, keeps creating, keeps believing, even in tight, uncomfortable games on a hostile ground. And the clean sheet, David Raya was outstanding. That save from Castellanos in the second half was a reminder that while all the talk about him today will be about the VAR incident, he is also just a very, very good goalkeeper. 5 points clear with 2 games left. This is Arsenal's moment, the bigger picture, what needs to change with VAR. All of this brings us back to a question that the whole of English football has been wrestling with for years. Is VAR working? The honest answer is sort of. It has corrected some very obvious errors that would have caused outrage if they had stood. Offside decisions that were wrong by centimetres, clear fouls that were missed, handball goals that should never have counted, but it has also created a new set of problems. Celebrations are held back because nobody knows if the goal is going to stand. Fans in the ground have less information than people watching at home on television. Reviews take too long, and the standard for what counts as a foul or a handball has shifted so many times that nobody really knows what the rules are anymore. Guardiola is not wrong when he says the system needs to be clearer and faster. Most fans would agree with that. But his credibility on the issue is always going to be slightly undermined by the timing of his complaints. If you genuinely think VAR needs reform, say it when a decision goes for you. Say it when your team benefits from a questionable call. Show that your concern is about the system, not the scoreline. Until more people in football are willing to do that, the debate about VAR is going to keep going around in circles. The final thought, Arsenal on the brink of history, 2 games left, 5 points clear, 1 win needed. This is where the Arsenal community has been waiting to be for 20 years. And whatever happens in the next few weeks, this season has already shown something important about this club. They are strong enough to win ugly. They can go to hostile grounds, go behind, or struggle to create and still find a way to get 3 points. They have leaders all over the pitch. They have a manager who does not panic. And they have supporters who have stayed loyal through so many near misses that this one feels almost too good to be true. Is it over? Not officially. Guardiola will keep fighting. City will keep winning games. That is what they do. And as Guardiola himself said back in February, 13 games is a lot and many things can happen. Well, there are not 13 games left anymore. There are 2, and Arsenal have their hands on the trophy. So here is the final question for every Arsenal fan reading this. When do you let yourself believe? When do you stop waiting for something to go wrong and just enjoy the moment? Maybe now is that moment. Up the Arsenal.